Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melder Production, and today I want to talk about MTurboDelay. MTurboDelay is a really awesome reverb that I've been waiting for a while. I actually made some of the devices for this, and for those that aren't familiar, MTurboDelay is lots of different delays put together in one plugin. I believe it actually has 39 different delays. And I don't mean 39 different presets, I mean actual different delays. And in this video, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of some of them. Unfortunately, I can't do all of them today, but later I'll show you some different presets and maybe I'll make some guitar presets to show you what it can do. So if you look here on the left, these are all the different devices. You have normal delay, you have creative, and then you have multi-tap. So let me go through some of the delays here. I'm not even familiar with all of these, so I'll just take you through some of the ones I am familiar with, like this one, BBD. And if you're wondering, like, hey, like, how do I know what all these are? If you look here under information, just turn this on, and it gives you just like a quick run through of what it does. So this one, I have a piano sound like this. This is like an old Bucket Brigade delay. Okay, it's synced up and it's to 30-second notes, so I'll just turn the sync off and change this to maybe 300. So right now it's on ping pong, but I can just click this and turn it off. I can also adjust the width here. And so that's cool. It's just this kind of stereo offset. So if you want a little bit more width, you can adjust that. One of the things I really like about this is the ducking feature also. So if I have this up high and I'm playing, I don't know, like arpeggio or something. That's kind of a mess. But if I turn the ducking up, it will turn down the delay until I stop playing, so you can actually hear all the different notes. So that's really useful. I really like that on guitar, but you can turn that on and off and adjust it. And you can also adjust the release of that effect also. You can adjust the shuffle too, so you can have either straight repeats like this, or shuffled repeats like this. Other things I think are pretty self-explanatory. Vibrato, if I turn this up, I'll exaggerate this a little bit so you can hear it. And I'll turn it all the way to 100%. That's a bit too much. You can hear that. And then it also has drive here. So if I turn the drive all the way up, or down. And then of course the EQ. One of the things that's really nice about this is once you hear the repeats, each repeat gets slightly darker each time, which I like about that. This is actually one that I designed myself. Next one, digital. This is another one I did. This one has lots of different modes here. So if I turn this to 100%. Oh, another thing you should note here is if you hit the lock, now next time when I move to the next preset, it'll also be at 100%. See, it stays there. And you can do the same thing with delay gain, output gain, etc. So this one is just like a normal digital delay. Turn the sync off. Like that. It has different characters here. So this is like broken. So this is like a really lo-fi delay. And that's really bad. Lo-fi is a little bit better, but still kind of messed up. You can hear that kind of grit. Vintage is a little bit better, but still a little bit more grit. You can hear it, but just a little bit more. Modern is pretty clean. And then clean is 100% clean. So I think you get the idea. Lots of the controls here are the same as in the BBD. The character, you have the vibrato. But this also does have reverb, which I really like. And another thing you should notice is here the length. If you double click this, you can not only change the values in milliseconds, you can also sync it to tempo. So you can do this like quarter notes, half notes, etc. One last thing about this is just the reverse. So I really like this. So this should be 1 measure. This is 2 measures, so it's like half the speed. This is 4 measures. This is half a measure. And then half a measure. You get the idea, and that's all synced to tempo. And you can do that like this and have it 50% like this. Yeah. So I like that effect. That's really cool for some things. Let's see. Another one here. I'll try Fragments. I didn't make this one, but I like this one. So here it has like different resonant characteristics in the delays. You can choose different materials. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that one. There's other ones in here, tape. So I made this one. I'll kind of let you hear this. I think one of the cool things about this is, let me turn the ping pong off for you. If you adjust the repeats, you can get like weird tape effects. So if I do something like this. So you can do that kind of stuff. And here, turn this wow and flutter. This is completely off. Turn it to 100%. And this is 100% on. So you can hear it's really modulated. And the age, with it off, it sounds like this. And on, it sounds like this. That really sounds like a beat up old cassette. And of course you have the color, you can change that, etc. But I don't want to get into too much of this. I'm trying to go through this quickly. I'll do a more in-depth video later. Let's go into some of the creative stuff. Chimes, this one's really cool. So this one creates kind of like ringing frequencies. Let's move that down a bit. That one's really cool. Early reflections, I think I showed you this one before. So for this one, on the right here, this will have the position. And on the left, that's the size. So if I do this, it almost sounds like it's dry. If I move this, it should sound like in the back of a hall. To the left. To the right, and to the right forward. Okay, and then let's see here. And this is the length and width. So if I do this, it's like a really small room. This should be a large room. And you can move it around as you see fit. Moving around while you're playing, it works somewhat, but it's not great. I wouldn't recommend it. It causes like the Doppler effect. Unless you like that, so you know that depends. You can do whatever you like. Glitch buffer. This one's kind of cool also. What this does is while you hit something, if you hit fill buffer, it'll just kind of repeat it in rhythmic pattern here, like this. Then you hit empty buffer and it turns off. And you have 2 different buffers here. So that's kind of a cool one. Nebula is one I made. This one, you can freeze this and then you can move around and play with the pitch and the feedback of something. So if I hit this and then I'll hit freeze. So this is just some grains, like a granular delay going into a normal delay. And of course I have some modulation here, so you can mess with that if you want those types of effects too. So there's all sorts of things you can play with and enjoy there. Let me see some of the other ones. There's a few other ones. This upsurge I kind of like. I made this one too. So let me show you one of the things you can do with this. Let me turn this to 100%. Let me leave the sync on. This. So it just kind of does that reverse delay effect, and then it has another delay after this. So I have this on 16th notes, but let's try this at 400. Let's try lots of repeats. And so let's hear how this sounds. And of course, if you want to change the length of that kind of like reverse sound, you can go in here and change that. So if I want it faster, like maybe 500. And I'll show you just a few more. This is a cool one. It just has different delays, so it's a multi-tap delay, but you can adjust lots of the different characteristics. So here, so lots of delays there. You can adjust the repeats, etc., the length. But one of the cool things I think about it is this. You can adjust the frequency. So let's say I play with this here like this. And let's hear this, and let's hear how it repeats. So there we go, and you can adjust all the different things like resonance, distortion, double tap, etc. So I like this. This one's really cool. Another one is tabbed. This is the one I made. So if I have this at 100%, it has an auto swell effect like this. Turn it up a little bit higher like this. And you notice it sounds kind of gritty. That's because I have it on lo-fi digital. If I turn it to clean like this, sounds a little bit better. But there's other modes like analog or lo-fi analog, etc. But I'll leave it on clean. And of course you have 8 different delays here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And each of these you can adjust the time, the feedback, the pan, the output, etc. And of course it has modulation depth and mod rate. And you can turn the auto swell off just like that if you don't like it. And you can just turn these off if you want to conserve CPU. On my computer, it's actually not using that much. If you go to settings here and go to CPU benchmark, it shows you how much you're using. So like 1.68% of CPU, that's really like nothing. It says I could use 59 on a single core, which I don't know why I would need 59 of these running at the same time. But if I wanted to, I could. So I really like that one. And one more is tap my pitch up. I like this one too. This one's really interesting. So it's just multi-tap delay. I have 7 here. So that's cool. Let me set them like this. And let's try something else. So let's look at the pitch and let's move it up like this. That's cool. It's out of tune, but I actually kind of like that. So let's try something a little bit different. Let's try going up chromatically. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this might give us like a video game type sound. Let me turn the feedback down too. Let's try a little bit faster. Even faster. That's cool for like video game stuff. Let's try 64th notes. This may be crazy. Okay, I don't know. My computer's kind of scratching up and glitching up. Hopefully that doesn't come out through the video. But this is a really fun one. And of course, you can do more things besides just pitch. You can do pitch shifting, you can do frequency shifting, and you can shift the formants if you want. So there's all sorts of things. And mess with the different levels. But that's just a really cool thing. So, of course, you may not use this all the time. And some of these are just kind of something you might use like once per track or maybe once every 2 songs, but it's good to have them there so that way you don't have to figure out like what can I do. And sometimes if you're just looking for inspiration, it's good to have all these different delays. I think there's 39 in total, and having all these different delays, it's great. And some of them, like probably the BBD and the tape, I would use almost all the time, and probably the multi-tap, but I don't know. I just love multi-tap delays, so maybe it's just me that would use them that often. But be sure to check out this plugin and all the other plugins at melderproduction.com. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, see you.